Hey, I'm James from Smoking Dad Barbecue, and I love smoking turkey for our family's Christmas. But what if this year, Christmas dinner isn't where your smokers are? If I was hosting, I would have plenty to choose from, including my Smoke North offset. But the challenge is a little bit unique this year. It is have turkey, will travel. And immediately my brain starts racing because I know, just like you would know, that the minute that this turkey is done being cooked and we were to remove it from the smoker, let it rest and slice into it, that is when it's going to be at its absolute 10 out of 10. But the idea of packing it up, transporting it somewhere else, reheating it, and serving it, my brain is already starting to cringe with all the possibilities on how that turkey will go so far away from its absolute best when it comes fresh off the smoker. But not to fear, I've developed some tips and tricks that can make even something as tricky as turkey a breeze to transport. So next time you're asked, have turkey will travel, you'll know exactly what to do. Let's get into it. So there are two primary secrets that are behind making sure that we have a turkey that goes from dry and to absolutely amazing, even if it's going to be consumed by your friends and family hours down the road and miles away from where your smoker is located. So let's go through them in no particular order, but the first one is our preparation, everything that we do with our technique to get our turkey ready. And the second one is going to be temperature. And stick with me on this one, and I'm not suggesting medium rare turkey, but it's going to raise a few eyebrows, and it is critically important to being able to pull this off. I'll explain that in just a second. So starting with our technique in terms of some of the things that you can do to turn out amazing turkeys, this is going to make sure that we have either a dry brine or a wet brine component, as salt is going to work its magic in making sure whatever you apply it to is going to retain more moisture, be able to withstand heat better, and not push out all that moisture that is inside the muscles. And so for poultry, I love doing something like a buttermilk salt brine. And something like today's turkey breasts, they can stand a longer time than something like chicken wings, where I maybe stick to 4 to 6 hours. Turkey breasts like this will have no problems with up to 8 hours. And that's exactly what I opted for. So last night before going to bed, got the turkey out of the package, added in a half cup of Diamond Crystal kosher salt. And this is not a Diamond Crystal ad, but that does matter, as this particular version of salt has 30% less sodium by weight compared to other sea salts, and significantly less than something like table salt. So not all salts are created equally. So if you are following along and you don't have Diamond Crystal salt available, you may want to reduce from the half cup of Diamond Crystal sea salt that I'm using in order to turn out the correct salinity for my wet brine. After that, it was in my briner's bucket. I just mixed up the salt, added my buttermilk, put it in the refrigerator overnight. Today, when I wanted to get ready for the cook, removed everything, rinsed that off, patted it dry, and left it in the fridge until it was time to start prepping for our cook. I'll meet you over in the kitchen in just a minute in the next chapter and go through everything I'm gonna do from my dry rub, as well as a compound butter injection, which is going to be absolutely key to turning out not only an amazing juicy product, but also incorporating some of those seasonal aromatics, things like rosemary, sage, and thyme. They're amazing on turkey. But if you ever used them on the outside in a dry rub in a smoker environment, the high heat passing over our food can often cause those fragile aromatics to burn up. And burnt sage does not taste anything like what we're going for. So instead, we're going to melt it into our compound butter and inject it. And that's going to give us not only the juiciness, but also some of those seasonal profiles. And again, I'll walk you through the dry rub in the next chapter. The second part, and you're sitting here, make sure you're sitting, but this is undercooking our turkey on purpose. And we've covered this a couple different times on the channel, but my friend Al from Eat More Vegans, he actually did, I think, a better job explaining it. So I'm going to borrow some of his explanation terms in terms of explaining why this is so critical. So if you check out on the food safety, the FDA is a great resource. You'll see something like turkey. Let me know down in the comments what you're going to say. Where should we remove our turkey? Probably 165 degrees Fahrenheit is what was in your mind. And the kill rate for any bacteria on our food at 165 degrees, which is why it's recommended, is 0 seconds. That means any bacteria that was on the turkey at that temperature, it's gone. And I'll link down to the article. There's a whole bunch more than what I'm going to be able to cover today. But the time to terminate any bacteria is what we are interested in here. What might surprise you, if you were checking out that chart, you could go all the way down into something like 145 degrees Fahrenheit, and at that temperature over a longer period of time. From memory, I think we're in about 13.8 minutes or something like that was what the table said, but I'll put it up so again I don't mislead you here. But this is the exact same thing at 165 degrees in 0 seconds. The same can be achieved at a lower temperature at the end of that time. And turkey is one of those critical things that if we overcook it while it's on the smoker, there is no bringing it back. This is not something as forgiving as brisket or pulled pork, where maybe we could do a couple other tricks and try and get it just as tender and just as juicy. If we make it dry now, it's going to be dry later. And the solution to this is deliberately undercooking our turkey from when we're going to remove it from the smoker, knowing that we're going to have a hot hold to make everything absolutely safe. So I'm going to set up my meter probes to track today's cook at 150 degrees Fahrenheit, a full 15 degrees Fahrenheit below when I would normally pull the turkey if we were getting ready to take it in and enjoy it right away with friends and family. And I'm going to do the rest of the carryover cooking in the hot hold. In the hot hold, you have two options. So depending on your mode of transport or where you're going, you could either pack these up in a cooler and use foil towel cooler and sort of transport that in the car, and then maybe add them into the oven. If their oven is like mine at home, where I can adjust it down and override the temperatures to make it hold 140 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. That way I know I'm not going to overcook the turkey. But if you want to be even more precise, you could use something like sous vide and set that to whatever temperature that you want. After you transport, throw them in a sous vide bag and just have them hang out there. And they will not overcook, undercook. They will stay exactly where you want. And when you're ready to dive into a holiday dinner with your friends and family, you'll know not only is it going to be food safe, it's going to be as amazing as possible, especially compared to if it had just come out of the smoker, as we've taken advantage of that lower cooking temperature in order to save some of the juiciness and not sacrifice any of the quality by adding in the extra travel steps. So let me take you back to a little bit earlier in the day when we made up our dry rub and compound butter, and then I'll see you a little bit later on when we are ready to get the turkey out and resting. Since I can't take camera and lights and everything with me to our friend's house, I'm gonna save one back, make sure that that's at a food safe temperature, and we can dive in and sample it here so you get a bit of the taste test. And the other two, they're gonna be going in the cooler and then in the oven for a reheat later on this evening. That's it for now. I'll see you in a little bit when our turkey is ready to dive in for our taste test. Okay, let's get started on seasoning up our turkey. Our butter is going to take a couple minutes under gentle heat to become fully melted so we could start to incorporate some rosemary and our sage. I'm only going to use about half the package at this point. We're going to save the other half for our resting butter. We'll pick that back up a little bit later, but for now we're going to use 1 stick of salted butter, melt that and incorporate half a package of rosemary, half a package of thyme, and this is going to give us some of our seasoned flavored butter that we are then going to inject into our turkey. It's going to give us some flavor as well as our juiciness. Start to melt this. Next, we can get to work on our dry rub. So I'm going to use the cap of my pepper cannon just as a measuring device. For those following along at home, this is 2 tablespoons. So I'll take you fast forward while I grind up some fresh cracked black pepper. Add that into our shaker. And I'll do that one more time so that we have 4 tablespoons of fresh cracked black pepper to work with. We're gonna go for a 50-50 salt and pepper combination. So I'm going to use the Fiesta Season It All salt. That's very similar to Lowry's. This is the stuff that Bar Barbecue is using. Next, I'm going to add a half cup or 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. Check in on our butter starting to melt down. A tablespoon, half cup of paprika. I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, teaspoon of sage. Again, this is going in our dry rub. We're going to get some even better sage aromas and flavors from the fresh sage that we'll be using in our butters. And a teaspoon of dried oregano. And our turkey rub is ready. You could, of course, if you're following the Bar Barbecue method, just go with exactly what they use on their turkey, which is salt and pepper. And I've done that exact recipe on a number of things, but since this turkey is going to be for a Christmas dinner, I like to get a little bit more of those seasonal aromatics and flavors that you would associate with turkey at Christmas inside. So that's exactly what this is going to give us. Add in some of that sage into our compound injection butter. I'll rejoin you in a few minutes once this is rendered all the way down and our sage and rosemary is fully incorporated. Okay, our butter has been turned down to a very gentle simmer for about 10 minutes, and the rosemary and sage are completely soft. So at this point, there's no tension left in them whatsoever, so I know everything is fully incorporated. So we can strain off or just remove our sprigs of rosemary and sage. Using a meat injector now, I'm going to inject some of our butter. So this is going to add not only juiciness and make sure that everything is never dry and full of flavor, but it's also going to add some more of that fresh aromatic inside. In our smoker environment or any smoker environment, we can burn those aromatics when they're exposed to too much heat on the outside. That's why I'm relying more on the injection to get my seasonal aromatics. Fill up our meat injector. I'm trying to do this so you can see, but I'll make a nice pocket or two in each breast. And pulling the injector back, start to fill up until I see it squirting out, so we're full. Do the same thing, other side here. You can tell it's cold here. The butter is starting to freeze even while I'm still working with it, but I'm just trying to take some of that is still liquid and have that be a little bit of our binder for our dry rub. All right, let's go get those on. Roll these over each other a little bit. Add in a meter probe. Any last minute touch-ups. Get smoking. Okay, our first turkey breast has reached an internal temperature of 150 degrees. So I can show you the process now of how we're going to wrap that in our seasonally adjusted or flavored compound butter that we're going to use in the wrap. And then for me, it's going in my holding oven, which I've adjusted to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit, which despite the minimum temperature being 170 is what I need for 150. That's a lot of numbers. Other than that, to say, confirm this with a digital probe. And so your oven, in fact, all ovens that I've ever used are wildly inaccurate. We get all fussed about a couple of degrees variation inside of our smokers. You think they're nuts, wait till you actually use some data inside of your oven and you see it's even way more unpredictable than my offset. In fact, if I show you the meter graph from early on, it's a pretty flat line for something burning a live wood fire. And in case I didn't mention it earlier, the temperatures that we've been smoking along, if it's coming through on camera, is 275. That's been about what I've been trying to keep today's cook at. But now that our first breast is done, let's get it off. Meet you over in the kitchen. We can wrap that in butter, and I'll be adding that into the oven until we are ready to hit the road. And just because of timing and logistics, I may not be able to show you the exact same thing on the other three, but the process is going to be exactly the same. So, okay, we've just crossed an hour on our first turkey breast that's gone in the rest. The other ones are gonna be coming with me, hitting the road and finishing their rest and being served at family and friends' house. But we don't need to wait any longer before we can dive in and see how this tastes. Let's get nice and close. Well, the smells coming out of this little foil package are insane. If it tastes half as good as it smells, we are in for a treat. Well, let's do some slices, see how it is. I don't know if that's coming through on camera or not, but this is one juicy bird. Got my sample piece, cheers. Let me do that again. Lights out. This has been already rested for an hour, just so you can get the full appreciation here for how well this method works versus just coming off the smoker. You cannot tell that this has been hanging out in a hot hold for an hour. It's absolutely unbelievable. So you find yourself in a situation where you're asked, have turkey will travel. You don't need to be afraid of losing all the hours of prep and work that goes into smoking an amazing turkey, only to have it get dry and cold and come out tasting nothing like it would have if you were able to be in the yard where the smoker actually exists. Now you can smoke at home using your own smoker, take it, serve it to friends and family, and know full well they're gonna get an amazing experience even if there's no smoker in sight. I hope you have an amazing Christmas. Let me know down in the comments if there's any questions about this method or anything else. And if you've got a more specific question, feel free to join me in an upcoming Members Live where I go live once a month and you can interact and ask questions real time versus these pre-recorded videos. That's it for today. I'm James from Smoke It Dad Barbecue signing off. Remember, don't be afraid to fire it up. Yep. Mm.